What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to part 2 of the 2025 WWE Smark Out Moment End of the Year Awards, the best and the worst of World Wrestling Entertainment over the past 12 months. We are on the second section here. That's part 2, the Writing Awards. So go back and check out the Technical Skills Awards if you have not already done that, and check out what we've got for our best and worst of Match of the Year, mic work, ring work, so on and so forth like that. I'm your host as always, Tony Mango, joined as always by Rob DeFelice.
Hey.
And we are always interested in what you have to say as well, so make sure that you drop your comments below and tell us what you think about our picks and what your picks might be, especially if we might have forgotten something and then, you kind of make us go like, oh my God, I would have put that down instead or something. So rolling along here with the we did the technical skills, so now we have to do the writing awards, same setup as we did for the AEW stuff, which means that it is time for us to talk about the best and the worst catchphrase or slogan of the year in WWE. And these are ones that I wrote a lot more down for than I did in AEW, because they typically have more catchphrases and slogans in WWE. So unfortunately, that means I also wrote down more for worst and, more for best. I have down for some of my options for the worst, Brooks Jensen trying to get over the I'm from Alabama, bam, 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 Bama.
Okay.
If you do that in a different environment, maybe it'll work, but Evolve has like 30 people in the crowd. And anything that has like any kind of crowd element to it doesn't really work there, because it's sort of like let's hear you, and people are like, oh, okay, and so you just hear that dude in the background. Maybe it'll work another time, I don't know, but it's not my pick for the worst. Some of the other ones I do have are when Dark State strikes, ain't nobody safe. It's a little clunky.
I like all of I can't think of his name right now, but I like the one guy's
Color James.
About how I like Color James. You're like, you don't want us behind you, or we're gonna be finishing on top of you, or I like his catchphrase. Yeah, it's just like, one of these days he's just gonna go to somebody, we're gonna be balls deep in you, and they're just gonna look at him.
He's just gonna. I mean, they pretty much stopped doing that, but that could be one of the options. I have 2 down for the Jey Uso element of this, and I feel like everything I'm writing down for this is like so much negative Jey Uso stuff, which I did not plan.
Jey Uso was a big player this year.
Yeah,
for good and bad.
When you're more prominently featured, it becomes easier to be a target. So the 4 letters, 1 word, yeet. I loved the yeet and stuff before, but they ran it into the ground so much. So I also put down the whole, like, we're going to run it back thing. And then we already talked about the other one. The other one that I got that we already talked about, I believe in Thea Hale.
I mean, listen. So did that referee.
So I think that that's the worst, though. Like, as much as I can get a little annoyed about the Jey Uso stuff, the crowd digs it. So that's at least a positive. But the I believe in Thea Hale stuff, there's nothing that works for it. Like, I like Thea and I like Joe Hendry. She doesn't have the character the same. She doesn't have a name that works with that kind of rhyme scheme and stuff. Like, da 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 isn't da da da. Like, I believe in the. It's really awkward. I'm glad that they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, and I'm genuinely, like, as much as it's a mistake, I'm happy for her. Like, she deserved to win a title. I don't care if it was a botch. She deserved to win a title, and I'm glad they got there. The running back stuff is up there for me. definitely. Um, the what a lot of the Cody Rhodes stuff, which is just this year for me, kind of nah. I'm good. Kind of. Can I just give this to the crowd? Can I like? Can I just? There's no other segment where we can crap on the crowd, right?
Yeah, there probably is. If
I mean,
you're
but
imaginative.
I'm gonna do it here and just say, boy, this was the year that the crowd really took me out of WWE shows. I know that sounds like the most cranky old man take, but the crowd really took me out of shows. And by the way, just because they spent the first half of the year uh, abroad, American crowds did not have to absorb every one of those chants, and that's the only thing we can chant for Cody now. All I hear now is Cody, Cody Rhodes, Cody, Cody Rhodes, Roman, Roman Reigns, Roman, Roman
Yeah, it's
Reigns,
true.
dirty, dirty dog, dirty, dirty dog. It's like, the fuck? It's annoying.
Yeah.
You know what else is annoying? Wanting to watch Roman Reigns against Bronson Reed, and the match doesn't start for fucking 25 minutes because, oh my god, the crowd in France is so crazy. Oh, it's so crazy. I like this was the year. Seriously, ads and arm movements. That's all this company is now. It's
It's
a bunch of
the
ads.
the attitude era. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people call it the attitude era, which yes, it is, and I'm gonna crap on that elsewhere, I'm sure. But my God, everyone's got a fucking arm movement gesture, and it's hey, don't you want to come to the show and do the arm movement? No, I want to watch wrestling. I want to watch wrestling, and damn it, WWE has good wrestlers. I don't care what anybody says. WWE has good wrestlers, and it's more than ever just fans hijack show, fans hijack show. Oh my God, isn't it crazy that they're all doing the same chant because you know the English crowd has creative chants and we just have to bite off them. Like it's am I wrong? Like that for me is it. And I guess if you wanted me to really uh, narrow in on a wrestler, it's Uso. Cause motherfucker, they ran that shit into the ground. It was cool for 20 seconds. It was like, oh
Yeah.
my god, Jey Uso's gonna be like a world champion at WrestleMania, and it's just like we're gonna yeet and run it back and run it back, and uh, I swear he's gotten to be a worse wrestler because I don't care what Callum says. There was a time where Jey Uso was a decent wrestler.
Mhm.
Like even IC champ, it was like I was excited to see him fight Braun Breaker for the IC title, and then it just became I'm gonna hit the worst spear you could ever imagine, and I'm just gonna do arm movements for fucking 30 minutes, and we're gonna literally take off like huge percentages of shows with just the Yeet stuff. If Jey Uso's in a big pay-per-view match, I'm like, okay, I can go to the bathroom, get a drink, get some snacks, set everything up, and maybe the bell will ring by the time.
Especially if there's still commercials left to go.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So for me, worst slogan or catch for me, it's just like it's the crowd's obsessive chants. It's the sing-songy chants. And maybe I hate fun. Maybe that's the mood we're in today. But like this shit has killed a portion of my fandom, and we'll talk about the other portions of my fandom that have been killed by this company this year. But like, I'm not gonna lie, the crowd is one of the things that's kind of taken me out of it. It's too much.
Not to talk about the political stuff quite yet, and
But
just
we're gonna get
constantly
there.
and constantly be like, why are you using this equivalency? But like, the way that the world is in 2025 is very much the world is burning. Why are you cheering? And it's like, hey, crazy person did some kind of absolutely terrible thing that we would normally be going absolutely crazy over. Why is everybody thinking that this is okay? And just going, well, things be thinging. And in WWE, it's like, what do you mean they're adding more ads and they're taking more time away from whatever? What do you mean we've got a 2-hour pre-show for every single event now? And there's nothing on the pre-show, when we used to have a half-hour pre-show and it had a match on it. And then it became an hour-long pre-show that had at least one match, if not two. And then it's a 2-hour thing, but at least you've got matches. And now it's a 2-hour thing and it has nothing on it. Why are you guys absolutely, going bonkers, super happy? Like, do you want things to suck? And when, you get the, like, man, every WWE show is just filled with a bunch of ads and it's just bombardment of those things. And the prices for the tickets are insane. What do you mean you're selling record numbers of these and you're selling out all this, and the seats are filled with people that are super happy to watch ads?
Well, like, actually, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's a shitty catchphrase, and it's not his actual catchphrase, but he says it enough. It's what we do. What we do. Triple H, and I listen. Cards on the table. I think most people know this. Triple H is a top 4 wrestler of all time for me. Triple H is one of my biggest favorites, biggest inspirations. I cannot defend this man. And I'm not even talking about the political stuff. I'm saying you can only say so many times that you don't want to be the center of attention, and then you're out there for fucking everything.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, like I try to defend that. I'm like, hey, he's a recognizable face. I get it. But you're out there for everything. My God. And then, honestly, he lost all points for me at Money in the Bank when he said are you enjoying the show? It's like, what? Okay. That was
pretending like this is all planned all the time.
that was it for me on the Triple H train. But yeah, it's the crowd chants this year is my worst catchphrase, because honestly that's what they're selling, and it sucks. It's boring, and
I mean, it's worth saying I'm not watching a wrestling show to see a happy crowd. I'm watching a wrestling show for me to be entertained. If I cared about what other people are doing and what other people are having fun, then that would be a different story. Then I would just watch reactions, On the best catchphrase side of things, though, I got a lot of options for that. And again, sometimes catchphrases and slogans are not necessarily things people say. So one of the things that I've got is that point to her head and shake her head thing that Io Sky does.
Oh, that's so good.
It's just like silly, stupid little thing, and it's like, that's cute. I like that.
But you know what? Everyone got into it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got into it organically. Rhea even did it. Like, Rhea and Io are attached to the hip. They might be up for like best angle of the year, because they've just been attached to the hip since this year started. But yeah, that thing is great.
I've got some more typical catchphrases. Like, obviously, to a certain extent, LA Knights, yeah. Like, I still like that. It's not as over as it was before, but sure. Same thing when it comes to the Joe Hendry stuff. Not as over as it once was, because we're starting to run it into the ground, but I still enjoy every once in a while a good say his name and he appears thing.
The only good one I saw this year was because it was so random, where the guy from Dark State has Tank in the choke and he just goes, Joe Hendry, and like, what? It's just like, oh shit.
It's like Shazam.
It's like, yeah, like that was good. But again, motherfucker, you ran it into the goddamn ground. That is the worst. I don't know where I'm going to put that this year, but that's like the worst thing of the year. This became a thing, and we got to overdo it and burn it into the ground.
Burn it to the ground, and that was a good song. Some other options I got are Booker T's reactions to Stephanie Vaquera's Devil's Kiss, of course, to point out people in the crowd. Carry that on. And that is official from Adam Pearce. I like when he does that. I like when he understates it and stuff too, like the slight variations of it. Somebody like Rhea will be like, like, I'm gonna go kick Asuka's ass or whatever like that, and he's like, well, how about next week? And she's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And he's like, well, then it's official. He just kind of like, it's almost like a tick. Like he has to say it or else it doesn't count. Or like, I think it was like the New Day and Grayson Waller setting up a rematch for the tag titles where one time where they were like, say that it's official. Like, like it doesn't count unless he says that. I mentioned Booker, but I don't know how many times in a given week the phrase pops into my mind: no bread, no water, just meat. Past couple of years I've been liking that a lot. This is a one-line thing as opposed to a catchphrase or slogan, but I have no other spot for me to put this in, so I just wanted to give attention to it. On the Halloween episode of SmackDown, Cody Rhodes had a line that I was like, oh, that's like my favorite line so far this year, which was, nice guys used to finish last, and then I showed up. I was like, oh, I like that. That's cool.
That should be a slogan. I like that.
And then, like, that's a t-shirt right there. And major shout out, and I might go with this one. It's lost steam in the past couple of months because he's just been gone, unfortunately. But man, when Jacob Fatu is cutting a promo and he does the "I'm all gas, no brakes, I'm gonna dog walk your ass," you know what I mean? And it's like, fuck yeah, man, go kick his ass.
Yeah, Jacob Fatu lost some steam this year, and it's really unfortunate because this dude is so good, and he's so he's everything you want a professional wrestler to be, and he's like really good in the ring. Like he might be the best evolution of the bloodline because he's got that, working savage in him, but he's also got a lot of the swag that the modern generation brings. Is that it for you?
Yeah, that's my list.
Okay, so for me, I really like, and mostly because of his theme song, but I like Javon Evans going, "Your boy is down." See, and
I like that too.
I think that's fantastic. I think maybe about a year left of me liking this, but I do like Trick Williams going, "Let's talk about it."
It works. Yeah.
I like, of course, whoa, that trick. Whoa, that trick. I like it. Booker T also. Man. Booker T, no bread, no water, just me. Yeah, it's really good. Tiffy Time. Tiffy Time lost a lot of steam this year, but Tiffy Time was good. You know what? It's goofy as fuck, and I didn't think she'd get it over. But Naomi, proceed with caution. Naomi, this had a really good year this year, and I'm glad for everything she's gotten this year. Let's see what else. I liked John Cena's "Never Seen 17," and actually that might be it, because John Cena was on fire this year with all the things he said. I'm gonna ruin wrestling. I don't have kids because I was too busy raising yours. So, like, John Cena said some things this year that I really enjoyed, but I might go with the "Never Seen 17."
I mean, it was a big part of this year, So, and you're not going to be able to have that going on anymore. I think I'm going to probably go with the Fatu stuff for me, just because once he comes back, I think that they're going to, like, people are going to enjoy that again.
You know what, though? Shout out to Solo. Solo Sikoa at the was it Night of Champions this year? During the post show where he's like, they were chanting Yeet, even though Jay wasn't there. And he's just like, 4 letters, 1 word. Stop. It's just like, okay. Solo's so good.
Solo's fun on the mic, yeah.
Pentagon, it's not like I'm not gonna say like the Cero Miedo, but like the little walk too. That's not a catchphrase, but it is good. But yeah, I'm going with Cena.
That switches us over to Gimmick, which, you know, I mean, some of that stuff kind of carries over in some ways. Man, I've got a lot more written down on Worst than I thought that I did. I've got about 20 almost. And that's throwing into that. My overall pick probably goes to, I am so happy to be here. I'm such a great fan of WWE, and I'm so passionate. I'm going to prove to you that I'm a great wrestler. Because
give me some specific examples.
Marcus Mathers, Mike Cunningham, everybody from Evolve.
You need to stop watching Evolve. I don't watch Evolve. Like,
every person that comes into the company is telling the same exact story. Everybody who has a breakdown, like even like a Lyra Valkyria or whatever, it's like, what's Lyra's gimmick? She's
a bird.
She's a woman who wants to be good wrestler.
She's a bird.
Caw.
Isn't that the kid? Like, but I will say, I watched Raw this past week, and my heart like skipped a beat. And I know like Lyra's my age, but like my heart still skipped a beat when she's like, "That's not the Bailey I grew up watching," and I'm like, like stop it. I still look at Bailey as like, nah, she's modern. Like what the fuck. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm not as bothered by that, but I get what you're saying.
I've got down Tate Wilder and any kind of generic cowboy, because it's just, you know, okay, your gimmick is you are from area, and even in that is just generic enough. I couldn't tell you where Tate Wilder is from. He's just cowboy.
Are cowboys, this is going to sound really ignorant, are cowboys still like...
Anybody care?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
At least popular, like, you know? I don't know.
Like Yellowstone is a thing. Is that bringing back the cowboy? I mean, like people like Hangman Page. Mm-hmm. People get behind the millennial cowboy thing. Just thought.
I've got to throw in all like those like Evolve and LFG ones before I get to the main roster ones, because there's a lot on this list. I don't know if it's supposed to be her gimmick, but Tatiana Dumas spent the entire 2 seasons of LFG being like, now I got a fire lit under my ass and I'm going to improve. And then the next week was like, Tatiana, that sucked. And then she'd be like, I'm going to prove to them that I'm better, over and over and over again. So it's like, so your gimmick is either you suck and you can't get better, or you are meant to be a loser. It's one or the other. You know?
This is a joke, but is that the bonding? Is that how she and Ava began to bond, and that was at the basis of their relationship? I really want to get better at wrestling. It's not working out.
I mean, I don't know what else they have in common.
And to be fair, I was the only one, and we have all the podcasts to prove it, that wanted Ava to keep wrestling. And I was fine with Ava sucking. She had 2 matches. I was okay with her improving. And then she just didn't, because she just stopped wrestling.
I've got down Super Sean Legacy in Evolve. It's weird because he is positioned as like the face of the ID program, and he's like, Mister, I'm gonna give you some words of advice and prove that, you know, you got a lot of heart, kind of blah blah bullshit, the same thing. but he sort of comes off as, the way that I wrote it down was, Sean Legacy is an obnoxiously optimistic and self-defeating roundabout jerk. Because it's like, this guy will be like, hey man, you just got to believe in yourself. I'm going to go for the championship and fail. And then you're like, okay, so you're going to pick yourself back up and you're going to go for it again. And then he'll be like, yeah, that's what you should do, but I should get the title shot. And it's like, I kind of feel like this guy might need to be a heel more than anything. And yet he's supposed to be like, everybody loves him. So I think that they still need to figure that out a little bit. But that's, of course, like I could throw in like a Chris Island and people be like, who the fuck is it? What was his gimmick or whatever. The main roster people, the ones that actually people care about more, are like the NXT ones proper. I keep mentioning it because it's still one of the worst things that they did. Thea Hale being paired with Joe Hendry.
Wow, you really hated that.
It sucked. Yeah. I wrote down, I don't know when I wrote this note down because I never date the notes. Charlie Dempsey just sucks at everything and serves no real purpose despite being talented. Because they did spend most of this year having Charlie Dempsey be like, I think I'm just going to go somewhere else and wrestle. And then all of my teammates want to leave me and I don't want them to, but then they're going to beat me and leave me. He was just a total loser this year. And the last thing that he did, we're recording this on the 18th. So, for context to that, was he issued a challenge to Timothy Thatcher. And then on this week's episode, he goes, yeah, I want that match. And you didn't respond to me. And Thatcher's like, nah. And then Dempsey's like, oh, okay. Well, that sucks. It's kind of like, dude, why are you making this guy to be a jackass?
And I don't know why, because he's talented.
Yeah.
And again, he's another one of those people who, like, I called it from the beginning because he's fucking talented, and people just shit on him, and I feel like WWE's not going to let him do anything, and he needs to leave permanently and go somewhere else and work.
I've got down the Color James innuendo stuff. Wasn't going to get the guy over.
I think that's fun. It's fun because I genuinely believe that the first time it was like, whoa, what'd you say there? And then they turned it, then it became, all right, now you guys got to look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? I like Dark State more than most, probably.
Dork State.
No, they're fine.
I've also got down Io Sky struggles over her friendship with the Kabuki Warriors and Rhea Ripley, and every week we need to have the same discussion of, I'm sorry, but I still love them and I'm really upset, and then get rinse and repeat 3 times per episode, all for it to just be, you know what, they're actually kind of assholes. And then now Io Sky is just, I want to beam smiling at Rhea, and she kind of looks like a little puppy because
they're so cute together. They're so cute together.
I've got just Rusev down. Just Rusev in general. What's his gimmick? Is he the redeemer that isn't redeeming anything, let alone himself?
Yeah, yes. That's what I was gonna say.
So he's Mr. I'm gonna change things, and by change things I mean lose.
Yes.
A lot of these are I'm just a loser types of characters for me, because if you're a loser but you're a comedic loser, I get it. Like, Pretty Deadly are like, all right, they're jackasses, but you're supposed to laugh at them. Or The Miz, to a certain extent. But when it's like, I'm supposed to take Rusev seriously, and he's like, I'm super serious now, more than I've ever been before, but I can't beat Dom. I hate that they still tried to get over this year the phrase, the unpredictable badass Braun Breaker. What do you mean unpredictable?
I don't think they call him unpredictable.
They specifically were calling him the unpredictable badass.
But they stopped that once he was with the Vision, right?
They still kept it going for a while. They haven't done it in a while, which thankfully that's the case. But it was like, all right, if his gimmick is that he's unpredictable, he needs to be unpredictable. He needs to do chaotic things. And I've always had an issue with that where it's like, I forget who it was, but years and years ago, they were trying to get over somebody in the women's division as being like the like eccentric and crazy. And it was like, I don't know, like Candice Michelle or somebody. And it was like, what do you mean eccentric and crazy and off the wall goofball and whatever? She's going out there and acting exactly the same as everybody else.
Was this Kelly? Was this when she had had a little bit of her time where she was just like shrieking at people and was just
No, I don't think it was her. I think it was somebody who like that was like specifically supposed to be their character, but I'm blanking on who it was because this is like over 10 years ago. And it was just kind of like, like the unpredictable badass thing. It's like, well, if you hear the phrase unpredictable badass, do you not think something along the lines of like, all right, Braun Breaker attacks anybody, even if he's not feuding with them, or like, wow, we didn't know what he would do in this hardcore match, but he pulled out some kind of weapon that we've never seen before. Not that he just comes out and attacks everybody with the same spear every week. Because then that's just, what's the difference between him and doing a spear and Drew McIntyre doing a Claymore? Or somebody super kicking somebody? It's not unpredictable if he goes and does that every single week. Oh, it's so unpredictable. We never know when he's going to run fast. I don't know, maybe when he's out there?
Was it Oksana?
Oh, maybe it might have been Oksana. It might have been Oksana. That was just a total failure. The two, though, that I'm more specifically going around, other than the Thea Hale thing, Grayson Waller is Big G in the New Day. Because I don't know where they're going with this, but it doesn't seem like it's getting anywhere.
Well,
and then
I have more to say about that.
I won't give it to this because now they finally are starting to do something with this that makes a little bit more sense, and that's Bayley's split personalities. Because the first 4 weeks of that were shit.
You really hated it. I didn't. I wasn't as bothered by that as you were.
The gimmicks like that to me can work really, really well if you're a good actor. And pro wrestling does not typically have good actors.
Speaking of good actor, it's gotten to the point where they've talked about it so much that I don't know. Like, was Bayley pulled from Mania last second? And did it actually bother her?
No idea.
Because they've been pushing that a little with her Undertaker interview and stuff. And I think Asuka even did a real interview where she's like, Bayley needs to stop being so modest and just be angry. It's okay to be angry. But yeah, I didn't mind that stuff as much. Worst gimmick, I'm just going to get straight to the point here. New Day went from being the most animated and colorful team to boring. And I'm not saying how somebody will say, well, that's good. We're being healed. We're being, you don't want to see us be colorful. No, I mean you can replace them with any generic heel team. The New Day was extremely boring this year after having one of the most talked about turns at the end of 2024. They did nothing with the New Day. To that same vein, John Cena. This perfect time to talk about John Cena's heel turn. What? What was this? What did we do here? Why did we shit on the greatest of all time's final year?
I think what's even worse about the Cena heel gimmick was that it was pretty obvious from the beginning, and then we got confirmation that they had no plan. And then I'm gonna bring this back up later on and all, but like if Cena turned heel because he needed to sell his soul to win that 17th title, the whole I'm gonna sell my soul thing was immediately evaporated. So then the impetus and the inciting incident
But
ceased to exist.
We're gonna talk about that because my other worst gimmick, and I think it's either he's getting worst gimmick or he's getting worst superstar of the year, and it's The Rock. The Rock. Was it last year? It was last year because Cody was champion. So bad blood happens, right? Bad blood happens. And The Rock ends the show by staring down Cody and Roman and saying 1, 2, 3, and then doing the throat slit maneuver. Never explained. Beyond that, the Raw after WrestleMania 40, Rock gives Cody Rhodes something and says, "Never break my heart again." Never explained.
No.
And then the only man with a bigger ego than Triple H, The Rock, starts Netflix Raw. First Raw on Netflix. Big deal, right? January 6th. Amazing. Cuts a babyface promo about how God bless Cody Rhodes for carrying the company. God bless Roman Reigns. Yay, everybody's happy. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, hugs, all that. Gives Roman Reigns the Ulafala. Well, all the reports come out, Rock's not doing anything at Mania. Then at the fucking, was it like 2 days before Elimination Chamber, he just shows up and he's like, "Cody, I want your soul. I want your soul, Cody. Okay, sure. Fine." And at that point, I know Cena's turning heel because I think I pointed that out going into the chamber. I'm like, he's desperate. But Cena turns heel with The Rock and Travis Scott. That's not followed up on at all. Travis Scott shows up at WrestleMania. Dwayne does not. He does nothing. The whole year. And then the literally, I didn't even hear what he said because I had my sound down. The next time I see The Rock is in a portrait mode video of him congratulating John Cena. Like he was doing it for Instagram or something. What is this guy?
To spoil some of my other picks, exactly
hold on.
that.
Wait, because I forgot something. The night after the Raw on Netflix, he goes to NXT.
Yeah. Oh, again, we're gonna bring it up again later.
Because I forgot that was this year. He goes to NXT. He says nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Literally goes out there and says, "I have no idea what I'm doing here. But hey, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, what is going on? What is this guy doing?" So either The Rock's flip-floppy final boss character or John Cena turns heel, or also tied into John Cena turning heel, R-Truth becomes Ron Killing, shaves his head, and then just goes, "Just kidding, I'm R-Truth. Balls." What was WWE this year? And I feel like not enough people are talking about this because when I hear criticism of WWE, it's only from strictly AEW watchers that just want to dunk on the Fed, right? As somebody who loves this company and who loved it for a long, like this company was my thing for my entire life. What the fuck are we doing here? What happened?
It really is like
Well,
they took all the stuff that they built up in 2023 and 2024 and then went, how do we ruin it?
yeah,
And
what happened?
a lot of the writing this year came across as they just gave up. Like, just
Maybe
things just don't
that'll
make
change
sense.
when AI is doing the writing next year.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll be worse.
Bobby Lashley's gonna come back and be a Japanese sympathizer.
Yeah. It's hard not to give this to The Rock. And again, I'm gonna repeat, those are my negatives for some other categories too. But then again, we have some good gimmicks. And I think that I'm talking way more about Evolve on this than I ever thought that I would.
Yeah, and that's funny because I literally said you're gonna talk all about Evolve, and I'm gonna go, yeah, I have no idea. Like I don't watch this show.
Vanity Project's great.
That I did. That I did. I went out of my way to watch Vanity Project because I like a good group of shit eating heels. Like they're just, and these kids, because literally they're fucking kids. They're the most perfect like mall rat Abercrombie and Fitch wearing jerks, and I liked it.
It's very I'm the blonde with the popped collar who is gonna take down the ski resort in an 80s movie type of shitbag heel. And you know, like every element of it too. It sucks that they got rid of, or well, they didn't get rid of Zeta Steel, but that they didn't want to keep her enough, because Zeta Steel was like, okay, she's the hot blonde chick. And then you've got Bryce Donovan, who is like a good looking, tall, long-haired bodyguard type, kind of the strong and silent type, but like good-looking dude. So of course he's in the group like that. You got the two little mousy assholes in Swipe Right, Brad Baylor and Ricky Smokes, and then
I once called them the Bumble Bros.
The leader of the group is Heartbreak Drake. What a good nickname, you know?
And for a minute, they were doing a really cool thing where they had them as the underlings of all ego Ethan Page, and I'm like, yeah, like absolutely, this works. Do this.
They should be on NXT. They're way too good for Evolve. Evolve should be what NXT Level Up was, but just better. And it is, you know, like it is a better show than a Level Up. But once somebody like a Callie Armstrong reaches a point where it's like, okay, well, she's holding her own against anybody, just put her on NXT. Like, move on. Let everybody else, let Evolve be more for the types like a Sam Holloway, where it's like, I don't know anything about this dude. He's just a guy. Let's see his character develop. Or put people in there like Nikita Lyons, where you're like, you've been at NXT long enough, you're not doing anything good. Let's send you down and you can either sink or swim. And I don't know why Carmen Petrovic is in that spot right now, because she's better than what they've been using her. So that's a little strange.
Yeah, that is strange. I didn't know that. That sucks.
That's where she's been the past like 2 months or so. But like Wendy Chu is a great example of like, they have like screwed that character over so many different times. And then this year on Evolve, she had a feud with Kylie Ray, where she was doing like the creepy doll gimmick and the, you know, night terror kind of thing. And then eventually she has an I Quit match, and she loses the I Quit match. And the whole gimmick around it is, how is Wendy Chu going to lose an I Quit match when she doesn't talk? Well, she says I quit. And then it becomes the story afterward for the past couple of months has been, now that she's talked, she has full blown turned babyface. And she's in therapy, and she's just Wendy Chu. She's not like, you know, sleepy time nightmare person or whatever. And it's like, okay, I like Wendy Chu. Like, you know, I only met her for a split second one time. And it's like, you know, years and years ago and whatever, but like, she always seemed like she was talented.
Karen Q?
Yeah, it's still just Karen Q. She seemed like she was talented then, and then like all these years, it's been like, oh, the Mei Ying character got nowhere, and then like I liked the Wendy Chu, falling asleep mid-match type and all that. Like, I liked all the gimmicks and stuff that she's had. It's like, give the girl a break. And so I like that that's the case. So it's, shout out to the Sweaty Chew stuff there. I'm probably the only guy that thinks that this guy's great, but it's Gall. It's Gall.
I knew you were going to say it's Gall.
He's just, I love my jerk characters, and he's over the top stupid, and like in a way that like only pro wrestling can really pull off, where if I show this to somebody, they would be like, what's wrong with this guy? And it's like, I don't know, but I love it because he's been doing these things lately where he's like rating like WWE legends on their physique. And it'll be like, the Steiners get like a 9 on the It's Gall like jacked-o-meter or whatever. Like, he's just a fun, stupid character. Mr. Iguana's fun. He's not going to be my pick, but Mr. Iguana's got character. Like his gimmick. Tatum Paxley losing her friends and makes her mind just shatter because she's like, God damn it, every time I have a friend, everybody leaves. I like that gimmick. She's cool, and she's got the doll thing that she's like threatening the calling with now, almost like voodoo doll-esque.
I thought it was really cool that they did a shitty thing when they released Shotzi and Gigi Dolan, although clearly it was for the best for them. But I like that they turned that into like Tim Paxley lost her friends, and she's upset. She just wants friends. And for some reason, Lyra's a really good friend to her, but Lyra's not a good enough friend to call her up to Minster.
Or to hang around more in NXT, even though she probably lives right in the area,
Right.
I'm still just gonna give this to Dom though. Dirty Dom.
Dom. This is the year I think everybody got it. Dom's the man. Dom is my favorite WWE superstar right now.
He's very close, if not my favorite. Yeah.
I don't know if you can count it as a gimmick because it's just, big dude, but I love Obafemi. I love the ruler. Actually, I think you can count it as a gimmick because it's clearly not his voice.
Yeah.
And so I love Obafemi. I think he's a strong contender for this. I liked what Becky was doing this year as a heel. Because it wasn't totally like I'm big time Bex. It was more like I'm the whiny veteran Becky Lynch, and I thought that was good.
And we talked about it before. I like that she's adapting the Trump speech as a heel to be like, do you guys see how fucking ridiculous this is?
Like, don't I look deranged like a paranoid Pierce? A paranoid.
This is what I call them. I call them this. And it's like, yeah, why do you support this motherfucker? To use your phrase, what are we doing here?
I know. It's true. We're not even done talking about him. Another really strong gimmick from this year. I enjoyed a lot of the Cody Rhodes stuff. He really just wants to be QB1. McIntyre fell off this year, but he's coming through in the end. Like he's getting some of that steam back with this Cody Rhodes feud at the end of the year. Liv Morgan, had a strong year. Rhea's always good. I gotta say again, Naomi. Naomi had a really good year. And I wonder if I would have been as high on it if she had stuck around. But I think, you know what? There's no real money on this or crazy words. I'll say my favorite gimmick this year, Chelsea Green, being the butt of the joke.
Chelsea Green is really great. Yeah.
Chelsea Green figured out the thing that all the WWE legends and people say But like she actually does it successfully. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, but it does. You know, like it does. But she doesn't mind being the butt of the joke and being the loser. She figured it out. She gamed the system successfully and is now one of the top women in the company.
And it's a shame that the Secret Harvest thing is not fully realized right now because of Piper Niven's injury. Still kind of feel like they might need to just put somebody else into that spot to be an extra person.
I think they were going to. And then the relationship with Ethan took off so strongly that it kind of feels like they just want to do that somehow.
There are options, though, for people that can be re-gimmicked to be alongside Alba Fire. Because, like, this has given Alba Fire more time on her career. She was really just not doing anything beforehand. And she surprisingly didn't get released along with Isla Dawn. Because usually when, you know, like Katana Chance and Caden Carter both got fired. Shayna Baszler and Sonya Deville did, but for some reason Zoe Stark didn't. Like, it's not a guarantee that both tag team members do, but most of the time it ends up being at least, you know, if not everybody. Look at something like the Metaphor. Metaphor becomes, we're going to move on with Lash Legend. Noam Dar is going to do whatever the hell, and then we're going to fire the other two. They usually clean house, and they kept Alba Fire, but this has given her a new lease, and I think that they could do the same with somebody else. And that's where I kind of look at like the NXT roster again and like the, you know, sub NXT roster and go, who has no character and who can be with Chelsea? And you got to try people out and see, but like you don't take a you don't take like a Lola Vice wouldn't work. You know, she's already got her thing. You don't reimagine Ren Sinclair, but like maybe this is maybe that would have been a good spot for Lainey Reed more than Fatal Influence.
I was just thinking Lainey Reed.
Because she doesn't seem to work with Fatal Influence to me. Like, if anything, Izzy Dame should be in Fatal Influence, you know? Or Flatulence.
Yeah, but she got stuck with the culling. It's not Flatulence.
Or like, if you want to repackage Adriana Rizzo when she, you know, it gets out of whatever the injury protocol is or whatever, maybe you throw in, this is a bit of a jump, but like, if you want somebody to be like the big person that can, you know, back up Chelsea. She's new and she's green, but Bailey Humphrey is tall.
I was just thinking Bailey Humphrey because she's big.
Maybe like having Bailey standing next to Chelsea and having it be like, if you mess with me, you got to mess with Bailey, could get her over, you know?
I think she's doing that on the road for Skylar Ray.
Huh. I mean, Skylar is one of the tiniest ones, so yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, like, yeah, play around with some of those things and re-gimmick some people. And Chelsea's awesome. Chelsea's great. She's one of the best people on the roster.
Yeah, she's just been my favorite. I didn't mention this when we recorded the first part, but great gimmick of the year too. Great gimmick, great ring gear of the year too, with that Cactus Jack tribute. Like, Chelsea's great. She was creamed on this year for the first time in her life, apparently.
Yeah, Cardona, what do you have to say about that? Didn't he actually respond with some kind of like what or something?
He did, and she actually was like, I try so hard to be the butt of the joke, and my husband always has to outdo me. Like,
outdo you? Works with that too. Heel and face turn is the next category that we have going on here. And,
oh boy.
That's the the linchpin to Smark Out Moment is that heel and face turn website page. I wonder if we're gonna go with the whole thing with The Rock and John Cena as the worst.
Yeah, I mean, okay, worst. I kind of already said New Day. Worst heels to be specific.
But they didn't turn this year.
That's true. They didn't turn.
So can't really count that this year.
I mean, worst heel turn. It's John Cena, right? Like it's I guess The Rock too, because he also turned. Because
Mhm.
technically on January 6th and 7th he was babyface.
Yeah, the whole thing
What?
that The Rock is pure babyface putting over Cody and Roman, and then he wants to sell buy his soul, and then he doesn't care anymore. I had John Cena's heel turn down as the best of the year when it first happened because it was like,
The
whoa,
moment might
that's
still be
great.
like one of the best. It's interesting because the moment is one of the best of the year. Because the moment was like, whoa, okay, we're getting one last John Cena story, and then it went over like a fart in church. That's the worst heel turn of this year.
And some other ones that I didn't really like. This is a recent one. Tony D'Angelo comes back. He attacks Javon Evans. And then after that, he just goes after Ethan Page. And then, according to the spoilers, it doesn't really seem like they have a plan to go with Tony D'Angelo and Ethan Page 100% either.
No, because you're going with Ethan and Moose, right?
Well, they're doing the Ethan and Moose thing, but they, sorry about the friggin' noise, everybody. They also have a portion of the show, and yeah, I mean, earmuffs if you don't want to know the spoilers or whatever like that. But Joe Hendry had a concert and was like brawling with Dark State or something, and Tony D'Angelo was just watching that. So
Well,
it's like,
he's a
so
man
he's just
without a family.
doing whatever random bullshit,
Yeah, he's just mad at everybody.
and that's stupid. So I don't like that idea. I hated the situation at the beginning of the year with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
It was one of the most talked about situations.
And it was like, we want Stratton to be a heel and Flair to be a face, but people don't want to embrace that. But Stratton's going to be kind of more baby face, even though she is the heel. And then, okay, we guess we just have to double turn them. And then Charlotte ends up actually working out better. So, like, one of the better babyface turns of this year was Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
I've got down. I hated how they flip flopped between a lot of other people. Like, at the beginning of the year, they were very much testing some things out. And again, I would love people to call out people like Triple H on these things and be like,
Can't do it anymore.
It's one thing for you to just be a jerk and, you do an interview and somebody's just kind of like, I'm nitpicking a bunch of bullshit or whatever, but I don't like playing the game of, hey, everything changes. So that means that everything that we do is given free reign to be like, well, we can flip it on a dime and you shouldn't criticize it. Because I don't think that that's justified at all. And when I look at the beginning of the year, they were teasing stuff like Braun Breaker against Gunther. And Braun Breaker's, getting more into the babyface side of things. And then they turn him heel. Okay, well, is that because you wanted to have a swerve? Or is that because you weren't sure what you wanted to do with Braun Breaker? At this point, I assume everything is, we don't know, and we're throwing shit at the wall. Look at Pete Dunne. On March 31st, Pete Dunne starts going into babyface mode again and starts reteaming with Tyler Bate with New Catch Republic. How quickly did Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate turn into Rayo and Bravo Americano?
The way it shows you how much had happened this year. We didn't touch on it, but yeah, that Americano shit, bad gimmick.
I like portions of it, but I really hate portions of it.
The only reason you like portions of it is because Kaiser's turned it around.
I hate that. Well, I like the idea behind Chad Gable was having issues with the luchadors, so he's tried to become a luchador and he's an ass. I liked that. But some of it's just too, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too butthurt about our political landscape where, like,
well,
the Gulf of America thing kind of pissed me off because it was just like, I should laugh at that, but at the same time,
there was a time where I even thought that one was okay because I'm like, yeah, like if this political landscape wasn't what it is, that'd be funny. Like it's an ignorant thing, and that's kind of funny. The ignorant heels doing the ignorant thing. It was less funny because this company became so intertwined with the political regime.
And one of my top ones of the year is Naomi.
Yeah.
As we talked about.
Yeah, I'm gonna. You know what?
She's might be my pick.
I'm gonna give it to her myself because I want to give this woman her flowers. Like Naomi, I was hard on people being like, "Oh, this," as if she didn't have strong runs. Because I think her SmackDown Women's title run was as strong as you could possibly get for Naomi at the time. But she really embraced this and really went out of her way to do things and make this character special, and wasn't afraid to get get her fucking ass beat. You know, like she was a heel who got her ass beat. Jade Cargill beat the hell out of her in that chamber, and she still came out on top and won the Money in the Bank. And I'm a huge fan.
I forgot to also mention the flip-flopping of Kalani Jordan this year over and over again. Because they wanted to turn her heel, and then they like refused to for like 5 months. They were just like, she's gonna act like a heel, but we're gonna book her against heels and have her team with baby faces, but she's gonna act like, you know, on every other episode, she's gonna act like a bitch. Yeah, obligatory heel turn thing too in NXT.
Yeah, that's a trope that needs to stop.
Oh, also, this year was with the Tony D'Angelo stuff. This was the stupid shit with Luca Crucifino, where he was like, I'm going to come out and distract Tony D because I just didn't know what to do. And I'm not heel, but I'm going to perpetually get in your way.
And he really wasn't heel.
Yeah. So it's just poor writing, you know?
Also this year, Blake Monroe for Worst. Blake Monroe, just like, I'm here, I'm teaming with Jordan Grace. Just kidding. We win the tag match. And then the very next night I'm like, just kidding, bitch. What? Like what do we do? What is this? Like Blake Monroe in general, not as hot as I thought it would be coming in. Because it's a little snake bitten, almost like I saw this on Twitter that Tony Storm's prophetic words of "I sentence you to a lifetime of mediocrity." Oh, you know, maybe there's some power in those words because it's not been great.
Another bad one for this year was the scenario where they've got the no quarter catch crew stuff that we mentioned. You know, we're all going to turn babyface. We all hate each other. Well, not hate each other. We all want to leave this group, but we're all friends together. And Charlie Dempsey is a jerk, but we all still love him. And
we just don't like Charlie, but Ren likes Charlie.
Yeah, and like then, the confusing writing there.
And then it just sort of ends by Ren going, Charlie's not answering my phone calls. I guess it's the Ren QCC now. And really, it's just a tag team.
Yeah.
Now.
Where she's the leader of the tag team, but she's the one that loses everything.
But she's the one that loses her. Yeah. What are we doing?
The writing's terrible this year. Julia turns heel in NXT, and then she is paired off with Kiana, and they don't care anymore about her. And I liked Becky's heel turn for the most part. Tina Paxley went from heel to, you know, now she's babyface again. Jacob Fatu turned babyface this year, so that was good because he needed to. And, you know, unfortunately, just not able to.
Solo.
Yeah, that was a good one. Josh Briggs turned heel again this year, and did the exact same thing that he did before, where he was in a tag team with Brooks Jensen, and then he turns on him and turns heel, goes into singles and fails, and it
felt like for 20 seconds that they were gonna do Briggs and Jensen, and then they just again that's another wild heel turn where AZ Dame just out of nowhere is like, fuck Brooks Jensen. Anyway, like, whoa, what the fuck?
Boot him out of the group. Yeah.
And then suddenly take over the group to where Sean Spears is now just like a mute. Like, he doesn't do anything.
He really doesn't. Oh. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on this. And it really just goes to show the writing this year has been very much, we either don't know what we're doing and we're just going to do whatever random shit, or we specifically know what we're doing, but we keep changing our minds and have to adjust accordingly and whatever. Awful writing this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Title reign, same kind of scenario. You know, the writing of title reigns is based off of how well you do the feuds and how well you set people up for different titles. And if you're in a scenario like Tiffany Stratton, where you start off the year red hot, Money in the Bank cash in, you beat Nia Jax. What do you do after that? You fight Nia Jax. And then what do you do after that? Well, you get Charlotte Flair, and it's a mess. And then what if you do after that? You fight Nia Jax. And you do it again and again and again and again and again and again.
You always skip over Trish. Trish did happen, but
Trish happens for a moment.
Yeah, which was
and then they go, all right, well, now that the Trish thing's gone, what do we do? Hey, Nia. And then they're like, we got to actually start moving into something else. So let's put Jade in there. Okay, well, we'll do 9 Jade Cargill matches. And some of those, we need to make sure it's not just a singles match. So let's throw in Nia. It's like, yeah, Jesus by the way, Christ.
Since you're just going off on it, that is my worst of the year for WWE. Because, like, it sucked all the life out of Tiffany. It sucked all the life out of Tiffany. Tiffany Stratton, much like a lot of people in wrestling who get the obligatory babyface run because they get an over catchphrase, is meant to be a heel. She's meant to be a bitch.
Way better as a heel. Yeah.
She is meant to be a bitch. Even if she's fighting Charlotte Flair and the fans aren't getting behind her, Tiffany is still meant to be more heel than Charlotte because Charlotte at least has the legacy babyface attachment. Tiffany is meant to be a bitch. And we need to go back there.
Some other worsts that I've got down are, technically speaking, Tatum Paxley's NXT Women's Championship reign.
I'm just happy they gave it to her.
I am, but as far as like who actually was like a fighting champion that got lots of wins and all that stuff, she did technically have the worst title reign. Rhea Ripley's World Championship run from January 6th to March 3rd, also a do-nothing run. And they took the belt off of her for, I think, mostly based off of the writing for this year. I think they took the belt off of her because they didn't know what else to do. So they're like, well, we got to do something. Because so much of this year was, I don't know, let's just do something. We'll figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, oh, well, we'll do something and then we'll figure it out. Just flying by the seat of their pants. Again, throwing things at the wall. If we've got a moment.
Who are you talking about right now? Who are you talking about right now?
Rhea Ripley.
Oh, Rhea, explain that.
They give her the belt. They do the whole thing setting up to like, we're going to drag our ass and we're going to drag this to January 6th for the title change. Because you can't just have Rhea win the belt at some point in 2024 when she should have. Drag it out for months and months and months. And then you go, actually, we don't know what we're going to do. So in March, we're just going to have her lose the title. So that way she is challenging again. Because they don't know how to book Rhea Ripley as champion.
She offered to lose. She offered to lose to EO because she said, it's obvious that you guys are trying to book a triple threat. And I'd rather lose here to make it make more sense to make it a triple threat.
I still think it shouldn't have been. It was a great match. Also, that's positive. But to me, I still don't think that was the right call.
Seeing as it got Bianca in the match and the year went the way it went, and Io and Rhea have been attached to the hip, and Bianca had to go out, I'm glad we got something from all three of them. But I would have much rathered There was a time, and I still think it exists, but there was a time a couple of years ago where it felt like Rhea and Bianca could do the main event WrestleMania thing as the two women. You know?
Yeah, they could have. And I think that they arguably should have. Before I say my actual pick, I'm gonna toss out some other title reigns that I don't remember happening this year, and I'm kind of surprised that this was the case. And you might go like, "Oh yeah, of course I remember that," or you might go, "Oh shit, that's right." War Raiders started off this year as tag team champions.
I wanna put you over for 2 seconds. Smark Out Moment as a resource website is incredible.
Damn right it is.
Like it should be said more that this is a great resource website where Tony puts a lot of work into just organizing this, and it was very clear for me to go to 2025 WWE title reigns and just give it a look.
See and go, okay, that's right. This person dropped it to that one, and then it was vacated, and then it's whatever. Yeah, symbol, effective.
And yes, I knew that because they lost to the New Day at WrestleMania, which is the only good thing the New Day did this year.
Another title reign that I completely forgot. Shinsuke Nakamura started off the year as the United States champion, dropped it to LA Knight.
Did he drop it back to LA Knight?
Jacob Fatu. Yeah, then he lost it to Solo, and then he lost it to Sammy, and then he lost it to Dragunov. But I'm like,
is that the most movement of any belts this year?
It's either that or it's the women's tag, I think. Because women's tag went Bianca and Jade, Bianca and Naomi, which technically isn't a different title reign, but whatever. Then Liv and Raquel, then Becky and Lyra, then Liv and Raquel, and then Roxanne and Raquel, and then Bliss and Flair, then Kabuki Warriors. So I think it's that one. But then the NXT Women's Championship actually is in contention for that then. That was Roxanne, Julia, Vicaire, JC, Tatum, JC.
Wow.
So lots of those. NXT tag team titles went Fraxium. I don't remember them starting off the year as tag champs. That's right. Fraxium to Hank and Tank to Dark State to Hardy Boys to Dark State.
So I remember them starting off the year as champions because they fought the Hardys in March at the Garden. Or at the theater at the Garden, sorry. That was NXT Roadblock.
Didn't remember that was this year. I always want to call attention to the fact that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is like a curse in some ways. And it's really weird, and it makes no sense. They have had like 12 of these things or 14 of these things or however many they've had, and not a single fucking one of them has ever turned into let's actually push the person and continue to push the person. They are allergic to that, and they want to give you for 2 weeks. It's only ever like a month-long thing at most. They give somebody the Andre, but they don't do anything with the Andre until the last fucking minute. It's always the Friday that SmackDown is airing. They go, oh, by the way, the Andre's today. Or the week before they go, and next week the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is coming back. Like, they don't fucking care about that thing. But then they act like it's a big deal that somebody won it. And then for 2 weeks they go, and that person won the Andre. And then they go, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Wait, was it Mello this year? Did he get a necklace?
He got the necklace.
Yeah.
And it was like, you spent the money on making this necklace. And by, I don't know, May 1st or something like that, he's like, not fucking wearing the necklace anymore. Again, what's up with the writers this year being like, I got an idea. How about we turn this person into I don't know, they're a parachute enthusiast. And it's like, huh? And then they go, yeah, it's dumb. How about we do something else completely different? It's like, well, now you just started a story. Now you need to at least finish it. And you go, no, you don't. There's some height to that parachute enthusiast, It's got it's got wings.
I think the issue is people are too accepting of like, oh, nothing matters. It's fine.
Yeah. Nothing fucking matters. Everybody just gave up. Here's a shout out to one of the worst title reigns of the year. There's a difference between these two, I think. And there's no real way for me to dive into it in a deep way without sounding mean. But Naomi turns heel and she cashes in. She wins Money in the Bank and she cashes in and she wins the championship. And oops, I'm pregnant. This is great. I'll see you guys later. Kylie Rae gets signed to the company. After all the shit that happens with Kylie Rae over these years. And she gets placed in a spot where she's the ID champion. And she also gets pregnant. I don't know if she defended it a single time. I think that she got pregnant right afterward.
You're not going to get
and it's just, it sounds like I'm picking on somebody and being like, oh, well, don't get pregnant. And I'm not trying to say that. That's why I'm like, it's going to sound like I'm being mean. It's just as far as functionally, like I said, Tatum Paxley had like arguably the worst title reign. And I liked the story of Tatum Paxley. But Tatum Paxley won the title, was like, I'm super excited to defend it. I'm stupidly going to defend it. And now I lost it. Kylie Rae, as far as worst title reigns go, she won the title and she immediately was pregnant afterward, and then she didn't get a chance to defend it. So it's like, that was a complete, like Finn Balor winning the Universal Championship. He wins it, and that day he gets injured, so it doesn't count. And it's like Kylie Rae wins the ID Championship, and it doesn't count because she is pregnant and she can't wrestle. So it's like, well, fuck. What a bad title reign, you know? And it's like, that's not like her fault. I'm not crapping on her. It's just a matter of like, the timing couldn't have been the least advantageous, because if they would have gone with anybody else for the ID title, you would have at least had an ID champion. Like Cappuccino Jones is the men's ID champion, and he's just defending the belt, and it's serving its purpose. They ended up having just the worst luck with that, of like, the one person that they picked is the person that happens to get pregnant right afterward. And then they fired her. And it's like, well, fuck, man. Well, you know, what a wash of a thing, you know? So that sucks, but it's not my pick. Because there's one thing more than anything else that upsets me to... Do you already know what it is?
Where's that Heritage Cup, baby?
Where the fuck is that Heritage Cup? What the fuck happened to this title? This started off this year with Lexis King as champion. And okay, sure, I like Lexis King more than most people. He's a douchebag and he's got this Heritage Cup and he's like, I'm going to get rid of the rule of the rounds and stuff. And I'm like, oh, we're making some movement here. Maybe we can even do the thing that I keep saying to do, which is you shouldn't have the Heritage Cup because you don't like the Heritage Cup. So make it a different title and just change the championship to something else. I don't like TV titles, but at least the NXT TV championship would make more sense. And he drops it to Noam Dar, Mr. Heritage Cup, who vacates the belt because he's injured again. Because that's just Noam Dar is
immediately.
I win the Heritage Cup and then I disappear. That's happened like 4 times now. And it comes back and it's Channing Stax Lorenzo that wins it. And Stax has it for like 2 weeks and then it's just gone. It's stolen. Nobody gives a shit. And Stax right now is technically still champion. He's still listed as being champion. The belt's not been eradicated. It's just back to its like 5th time of we don't care and we're just not going to mention it anymore. And that might be just WWE not updating the website and that they actually did get rid of it, because we've shown it's been, you know, proven based off of my fucking efforts and everything that WWE did not know what the hell they were doing when it came to the Undisputed title and the Universal Championship being split, because they kept Cody Rhodes as champion for double champion for an entire year until John Cena won it. And then they went, oh, fuck, we got to change that. And then you get the Evolve Men's Championship. Jackson Drake spends months as champion and he has no profile page. And what happens? Oh, he's booked for NXT and we have to tag his account. Oh shit, we don't have a whole goddamn champion, the main champion on an entire show. We don't have it listed at all. They probably have 3 people working on this entire website. And they probably sit there all day and just go, did you get that one press release up? Yep. And it's awful. Yeah. So I don't think that Stacks is technically actually still champion with the Heritage Cup. I think that they got rid of it. And if they didn't, then what are they doing? If they did get rid of it, they never said anything. But he's got, like, his profile is a profile picture from 2024. From May 2024, not even like December 2024. He's still listed as Channing Stacks Lorenzo, which he's been just going by Stacks. He's still listed as the Heritage Cup champion. He's not listed as the TNA International champion. I don't know if maybe they can't do that, but you know.
They don't.
And his profile page says, Channing Stacks Lorenzo isn't just a loyal associate. What? He's a calculated and ruthless force in NXT, willing to do whatever it takes to climb the ladder. When Tony D'Angelo needed muscle to solidify his control over NXT, he turned to his childhood friend, blah, 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 blah. He's promoted to a soldier and the underboss, whatever. But at Stand and Deliver 2025, everything changed. In a shocking betrayal, Lorenzo turned his back on the D'Angelo family, striking out on his own and solidifying his status as one of NXT's most conniving superstars. Okay, so then you know that he is doing that gimmick, but you didn't change anything else. And this Heritage Cup just basically stopped existing after having a shit year. So that's my worst.
You know, it's funny because I just said they can't do that for the TNA thing. But I do believe Kalani Jordan's profile picture might be her with the TNA Knockouts Championship, which she does not.
Oh, really? Let me check. Wait, no, she's not champion anymore, though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So God damn it, they can't even fucking change that. Oh my god! You know what I noticed the other day too? It was the women's North American title. Yeah, it must have been that. The women's North American title graphic popped up on the screen, and it's got the old NXT logo on it.
Really?
And if you look at the tag team titles are from pre NXT 2.0 even.
Pre 2.0, they never changed those.
Yeah.
They never, for some reason.
For a company that makes money hand over fist and is like, oh, we got $7 billion this fucking month. They're cheap as all hell. Hire 10 more people on your wrestling website. Smark Out Moment should not be updated better than WWE.com when I'm a one-man fucking show on this thing.
You know what? I'm looking at it now. It's like that weird stopgap logo where they kind of did a little bit of gold because they got away from the 2.0, but it's not the silver one that it is right now.
Talk about the women's North American. Yeah, it's that pointy championship.
This is us getting in the weeds, by the way. This is only we care about this stuff, but it's worth saying. What the hell?
Also, just to complain about the website, when you're scrolling through the championships, why the hell does the NXT Cruiserweight Championship and the 24/7 title come before the NXT titles? Come on, guys.
Okay, that's interesting. So, NXT North American Championship then goes to the $1 million title, which I guess was an NXT thing for a minute.
The first belt that pops up is the Universal Championship.
Then you get the UK titles, Heritage Cup, and then it's the defunct ones. Is that... Yeah, huh.
Why is the Universal title the first thing before the Undisputed title?
You just gotta move it. You know what's funny about that Universal situation? After having Cody listed as champion, who's the final champion, Tony?
Did they revert back to Roman?
I believe they reverted back to Roman.
Let's see. It says it's a vacant championship title holder right now.
Roman Reigns.
It's so stupid. Oh my god, I hate it.
Because they should have just... Actually, when does it last say... Okay, so it ends with... That's right, because he held that one first, so you had to keep that because that was the 2,000 days. Weird, huh?
I hate it. So my worst is the Heritage Cup.
Yeah, and my worst is It's probably Tiffany because I really didn't like how it sucked the life out of Tiffany. I would also say the Hardy Boys didn't do nearly as much with the NXT tag team titles as I thought they were going to.
Yeah, they should have done more.
I will also say Julia was a completely fucking ineffective women's US champion.
And NXT Women's Champion. Remember how quickly she dropped that?
I will also say Zelina Vega. It was cool, but it's cool. I'm not gonna crap on her because it's cool that she won it. But Julia was an ineffective champion.
I mean, in general, the Women's United States Championship, they didn't give a shit about that this year.
I mean, you also have like stuff like the Andre listed, and there's an argument to be made that Cody Rhodes was a crappy King of the Ring because that was just a vehicle for him to become.
Both of the King of the Rings under Triple H in charge sucked. Both, like, all four. I mean,
well, Gunther
Nia's the only good one.
But Gunther just wasn't gonna wear the crown, you know.
Gunther won it and said, fuck this King of the Ring thing. Nia won it and actually was queen, but they immediately gave her the championship like soon enough afterwards. So it became, who cares about the queen thing? Cody wins King of the Ring and immediately gets rid of the thing. And Jade doesn't do anything either. King of the Ring is a number one contenders match now. And that sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Best title reigns though. Got some decent ones at the very least, thankfully. You know, it's not too many to really be like, oh my god, what an amazing title reign there. But
just talk about John Cena as the Intercontinental Champion. Go ahead.
I'm glad that he won that. That's one of my favorite title wins because I'm glad that they crossed it off. But you know, the title reign itself, can't give it to that. I think that you're not going to hear any kind of pro Jey Uso world heavyweight title reign thing from me, or even Gunther world heavyweight title reign this year from me, or, you know, Punk lost it pretty much immediately. So the main title, I
do want to say though,
not great.
Jey Uso is a big candidate for worst because he did not need to tap out Gunther. That did not need to happen.
No, still one of my least favorite moments of the year. But I want to shout out major, potentially my pick. I don't know for sure if it is my main pick, Dominic Mysterio with the Intercontinental title. To the point that he had like the fun stuff with AJ Styles this year. And, you know, he drops it to John Cena.
Great match.
On his fourth to last match. Very few people can be like, yeah, I lost the title, but I lost it to fucking John Cena. And then I won it back, you know? I would have liked Becky's Women's Intercontinental title reign more if they would have done more with it instead of just having it be like a 4-month story with Lyra and then ends with Maxine, of all things. I don't know where they're going with this Maxine thing. I think that they're just, again, let's try something different to get people talking and whatever the fuck. Sami Zayn's US title reign was fun. That matter.
If she doesn't drop it to Natty, I will be pissed.
And I don't think she will. I think she'll drop to Roxanne.
That sucks.
Sammy's US title reign, fun. Open challenges. Lots of cool moments there.
I watched SmackDown last week. That was fun. Ilya versus Tommaso.
Get guy that's good in the ring. Have matches with people. Fun. Pretty self-explanatory kind of deal, but you never know. Sometimes that's confusing to people. I kind of want to give best title reign immediately to Thea Hale. It's just that's great. You know, I love that happened.
She's so funny, and I'm glad that happened for her, even if it was a botch.
It has to be that she landed on her in a way that that Blake had like her win knocked out. It has to be that.
Well, both Fightful and PWI are saying that. So yeah, she got the wind knocked out of her.
I think if I don't go Dom, I probably would lean more towards Obafemi. Because he's just, the ruler of NXT comes out and he's just like, oh, I'm going to kick your ass. And then he does.
I want to shout out Io Sky. This won't be the only time I'm shouting out Io Sky. I will shout out John Cena because even though I didn't like the heel turn, I'm glad he had several months as world champion. Would have been upset if they didn't do that. Would have preferred a babyface run, but I'm glad we got the Never Seen 17, and that might be my pick, just because he's the Never Seen 17. So it's between John Cena and EO, and I'm probably going John.
Let's see. The next category that we got going on is the only thing that's like really separate from. I mean, the heel and face turn. Did we have a heel and face turn thing from AEW? I think we did. Yeah. But this one's definitely only a WWE thing, and I think this is going to be the last year that we have this category because at this point, it's just who's watching what, who cares. It's not the same as what it used to be. We used to have a lot more shows, and that's television show or program. Digital programs like This Week in WWE and Playback and Pop Question and all that, they've pretty much stopped doing a lot of those. And then if they still continue to do them, it's just basically a random thing that pops up once in a while on YouTube instead of it being a part of like a system. And then the in-ring shows and the main shows, you got like Evolve, Main Event, NXT, Raw, SmackDown, LFG, Speed. I don't know if it's really worth keeping this category for next year. Because what's the best and what's the worst? Like, do the AEW, do the A&E shows even air anymore? There's too much shit to keep track of.
No, they do. They do.
So
they're probably on a break currently, but they do.
I'm pretty checked out about this category. I don't think that there's really a best and a worst as far as like the show was so much better here than the other things and stuff, other than the obvious. Like, yeah, of course, Raw and NXT are going to be better than Main Event. Main Event's literally only a paycheck to them. They don't even advertise the fucking thing ever on anything. They put up a graphic earlier this year with the whole ESPN switch and stuff where it was like, our shit's so confusing that we need to show you in graphic form where you can watch programs. And they didn't mention some of the programs. So like they didn't say where you could find Main Event. And that's perpetually going to be my lowest. It's always just going to be that. Speed is stupid, but they got rid of it pretty quickly. Speedy. So yeah, I don't know. To me, this is a wash category, and it's like I'm not even going to carry it. Go forward.
It's Raw's the only show I've watched, or like Raw or NXT, because I stopped watching SmackDown after SummerSlam, and I'd probably give it to Raw just because it's Raw. Worst is Evolved because I've never seen a show.
I think that you'd like it, to be honest.
The thing is, I probably really would. That's the funny part. I would like Evolve. And look, I'm not in the media game anymore. So maybe I'll start to actually watch stuff more.
I mean, you can't now because now it's going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Is it really? That's still
yeah, they're coming back the 7th.
The holidays are such a weird time where people are just like, yeah, December doesn't count. Like it's actually 11. It's actually an 11th month of the year. December doesn't count.
Once you get to Halloween, people start being like, I'm kind of done. But they phone it in for the first couple weeks of November. And then you hit Thanksgiving and everybody's full from their meal. And they go, I don't want to go back to work at the beginning of December. Can we just take the month off? And then everybody pretends that they care for the month of December. Then January, everybody goes, it's the start of a new year. I'm all reinvigorated. I'm going to pretend like things are different just because the calendar says 2026 instead.
And then a week passes, and then
a couple weeks later, everybody goes, you know what? Fuck that diet.
And this year is already not my year. Like
right. Off to a bad start, I still go back to the one year. I forget which year it was. It was 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. No, it had to be 2020 then, I guess. Where I started off the year cutting my finger and passing out and being like, it's got to go up from here. And then it was like COVID, whatever. And I'm like, fuck. All right.
Yep.
Shit happens. Blame me. I didn't beat The Undertaker's undefeated streak. I didn't set us on the wrong timeline. So yeah, it's a wash category for the TV show thing. I'm not carrying it over into next year. I actually even just wrote myself a note of like, change the graphic, get rid of that for next year. If there is a next year. But pay-per-view or a special event, that's still always worth talking about. And I hate that this is a part of my personality, but it is, and I have to address it, and I have to call a spade a spade. I am terrible at remembering what matches happen at events and how much I liked the event. And I go through this almost every year where I go, shit, I don't remember. And then I start looking at the list and I go, I don't remember if I really liked this or if I hated it or what. I wish I would have written down a grade or something to make this a lot easier. I should start doing that next year. And then I end up doing that for like 1 or 2 shows. And then I go, I'm so busy. I got to do the post show. I got to do this. I got to do this. I'll do that later. And then I forget about it. And then we get a spot like this year where I wrote down under the best pay-per-view or special event, I wrote Royal Rumble, night 1 of WrestleMania. I forget as far as 525. That's literally what I wrote down. And then I wrote Crown Jewel. And then for worst, I wrote Vengeance Day, weird choices for the winners, Retribution style lame debut for whatever the masked faction is, Dark State, and so much downtime focused on LFG commercials or pointless filler content shit. So I must not have liked Vengeance Day enough to actually go into the awards to write it. I couldn't tell you anything that happened on the show except for I'm thinking that was the one where Miles Bourne fought Obafemi.
Nope, that was Battleground. That was like 7 months later.
Okay.
Like, that one was, and we haven't talked about this guy, but that was Eddie Thorpe against Trick Williams in a strap match. And Eddie Thorpe was employed at the start of this year. And kudos to him. I'm not making fun of him because everybody's talking about Mick Foley right now. He's somebody who was like, I don't need to work here. Like, I don't need to work for a crappy company. Kudos to him. Not crapping on him at all. It's just funny that like he was a top guy in NXT to the point where Shawn Michaels was like aggressively, pushing him and like, you don't talk to Ava that way. It was very strange. That was never explained. But yeah, that was that. That was Obafemi against A-Town Down Under in a 3-way for the NXT Championship. That was the debut of Dark State. And I'm drawing a blank on some of the other things. I think Fallon Henley was still Women's North American Champion there. She might have lost it to Stephanie there.
Let me bring it up actually, because let me go to the handy dandy Smark Out Moment pay-per-view schedule thing. And again, I'm forgetting I'm not factoring in as much of the NXT New Year's Evil, the TV show specials and stuff, just because it's like, there's too many fucking shows, everybody. Like, I'm sorry. I want to be the most in-depth, best analysis person, but I'm fucking burned out from pro wrestling. And when I got to watch 12 hours a goddamn week and also write out all the articles and do all the podcasts and then try to remember each and every match from each and every pay-per-view for WWE and NXT and AEW. And then people sometimes expect me to watch ROH and TNA, and I'm watching AAA now this year with those events. It's too fucking much.
My burnout is such that I'm literally not working currently. That's how burned out I was.
A lot of people are really great at that and being able to be like, oh yeah, I remember at the beginning of the year, Saturday night's main event had the Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu match, and that was Gunther beating Jey Uso and whatever and all that. And it's like, okay, that's 12 months ago, and a lot of shit's happened. So it's like, I hate that these are categories that they're staple categories that really mean something, and I can't bring that much to the table for it. I will fully take responsibility that I wish that I could do better with that. But I am looking at my, I don't write the review stuff on the website anymore, but I've been trying to do that a little bit here and there for this year. And on the Vengeance Day breakdown.
looking at your results.
I've got, Stephanie Vaquero beats Fallon Henley, and I wrote new champion, very cool.
Cool, I remember that.
I had written down, I'm not a fan of the Dark State thing. I think this is a massive bust. For the Eddie Thorpe thing, strap match with Trick Williams, I wrote really a bunch of question marks. I guess they want to do another match at Roadblock. Poor Trick has been booked so poorly over the past year that even while being the top babyface, I wrote down at the end of the thing, this show was so underwhelming to me.
I forgot this match happened. Julia, Bailey, Cora Jade, and Roxanne Perez for the women's championship. Because at the beginning of the year, remember, they were really pushing the NXT's women's division is the most stacked division.
Yeah.
And then they lost Roxanne, they lost Julia, they lost Stephanie right away.
And it still is.
Cora go.
Great.
It's still stacked, but it's not the same. They let Cora go, even though a lot of people, were iffy on her. I wasn't, but I liked what she brought to the table. But they fucked Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace doesn't win anything.
Yeah. Was this year the Hall of Fame speeches that were really awkward? Sorry about the sirens again.
All I remember from the Hall of Fame this year was Hunter went on really late because it started really late. Hunter went on late, and Bret Hart and Austin were just sort of like, hell yeah, we're so happy to be here. But I don't really remember too much of the speeches.
I don't remember loving the show. And they have to fix some of that stuff for sure.
It needs to not be on Friday.
It shouldn't be on Friday night after SmackDown.
Look, no. I'm glad don't get me wrong. I'm glad we're no longer in Monopoly. Monopoly bad. But WrestleMania weekend was so much better when it was Hall of Fame Friday Hall of Fame Friday, NXT, because I'm going back to it, SmackDown was on Tuesday, NXT Saturday, and one night of WrestleMania Sunday. They do too much now. You might as well start putting the Hall of Fame on Thursday. You know what I mean?
It should be. Absolutely should be. I could go through the whole list of the stuff for this year. I just don't remember. And I particularly don't remember TV show specials that were just kind of blah because it's just too much. So I'm assuming Vengeance Day is in the mix there for worst. I do remember really enjoying Crown Jewel. And I was watching that over in Brazil. I had trying to figure out the ESPN thing and all that. So it started off with me being like, oh, let me make sure that I can get this, and being a little stressed out, and then just being like, okay, I got it working. And then actually just liking the matches in the show. So maybe I'll go Crown Jewel. Maybe I'll go night one of WrestleMania.
So the funny thing there is, this is the first year I didn't watch all the shows. I didn't watch Crown Jewel at all. I watched the Cena match after because that's how that people were raving about it. But I didn't watch Crown Jewel. I didn't get through any of Clash in Paris. And I think my worst, as much as I probably liked a lot of the matches on the shows, might be SummerSlam. And here's where we get into politics, folks. Because I think SummerSlam is where I mentally checked out. SummerSlam, when they put on 2 nights of good matches, and all anyone was talking about, and all anyone had to cover was Trump on screen, and Brock Lesnar's back, even though he's named in a lawsuit. I think that's where I went, I hate this. And I think that soured me on SummerSlam. So I think that's going to be my worst of the year from a personal perspective. Best of the year, I really liked Night 1 of WrestleMania.
I mean, Night 1 of WrestleMania has a lot of positives to it, for sure. And it was one that I had written down. But then for some reason I wrote down, I forget as of May 25th. So like, a month later and I already forgot if I thought that was one of the best or something. It's just the cycle is too fast. And
Evolution was pretty good. For a thrown together all women's show, pretty good show. I'm sure you don't remember much of it at all.
I remember liking parts of it, at least. I'm glad that Lash Legend had a good spot in the Battle Royal. I'm glad that Stephanie Vaquera won something prominent, even though she probably should have been doing something better. I liked the cash in for the most part, even though I liked the idea more so of just do the Io and Rhea thing, But it was it's cool for Naomi.
I will also say this was the year that NXT events really suffered because 80% of them were being used to try and counter program major AEW events.
I hated that thing.
And that did not work out well for them. And that wasn't fair to any of the people on the roster.
It's not fair to the fans. It's not fair to the talent. It's not fair to the other companies even. And I know that that's it's business. Who cares? This is one of the things that I'm never going to be a quote unquote successful businessman because I am not heartless. And there's no part of me that thinks, I should try to sabotage other pro wrestling websites because that'll boost Smark Out Moment. Now, I do think that acquiring other ones and merging them together because there's too many pro wrestling websites out there and most of them are not actually contributing. They're just filling out noise. I do think that that's the case. But that's a different story. That's, to me, WWE should buy something like a TNA and take over some of their roster stuff. But they shouldn't just be let's counter program AEW and you have to fucking watch one or the other or whatever. So those, downsides for those things. Most shocking moment of the year. I don't think I need to explain that. What made you go, what the fuck? Or, holy shit. Or, any kind of major positives like that. I got a whole lot listed down in chronological order. I got the beginning of the year. Tiffany Stratton cashes in Money in the Bank. Not my favorite pick, but hey,
Yeah, and I
cashing.
think that's really cool too. She was champion for the majority of the year. Not a great run, as we've established, but was definitely a cool moment.
I got Bliss returns at the Royal Rumble. Trish Stratus returns at the Royal Rumble.
Nikki Bella returned at the Royal Rumble.
I don't think I had that down because I think that was something that was very much everybody was assuming, if I remember correctly. Actually, I have quite a bit at the Royal Rumble. Nia Jax eliminates 5 people at the same time in one shot for a new record.
I forgot about that. Huh. Totally forgot about that.
There's Roxanne sets the new Iron Woman record and is the runner-up at the Royal Rumble.
That was cool. And I'm glad. I think she should have won it. But as we've established, I'm very big on just push the young people.
I've got down Akira Tozawa gets taken out by Carmelo Hayes and replaced by I Show Speed at the Royal Rumble.
That was funny.
I've got Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble.
Wow, that Royal Rumble was a good Royal Rumble. If you got 5
big shocking moments,
yeah, I think that's great.
The Ricky Stark / Ricky Saints showing up on NXT less than 24 hours after being removed from the AEW roster page.
That was That was awesome. And that's a fun way I like seeing those things happen.
John Cena turns heel at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Definitely shocking.
Io beats Rhea on Raw for the title. AAA gets acquired by WWE.
You know what? That one might be it because that shit came out of nowhere.
Just on WrestleMania, just like pre-show. Hey, by the way, we bought AAA. What?
That might be my pick, but I want to hear some of your other ones because maybe
it's toward the very top, if not my pick for that, because that really did just. It was like, well, if anything, they're going to announce that they are, they're buying TNA, but no, AAA out of nowhere. Joe Hendry is Randy Orton's surprise opponent for WrestleMania Sunday.
That one was shocking because I thought anyone but Joe Hendry, like that was crazy, and then he lost in 3 minutes, which was also shocking.
Miles Bourne wins the 25-man Battle Royal, gets that title shot for Battleground, because out of nowhere, again, Miles Bourne is who you're going to pick. He was just out of, no quarter catch crew, just, plucked as, I guess we're going to start pushing this guy now. Part of the random stuff that they did this year, and one of the only things that was, a beneficial good thing. R-Truth returns at Money in the Bank to attack John Cena after being released.
Shocking, definitely. Follow-up is even more shocking. That one's up there with AAA.
The Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn heel on Seth Rollins after Crown Jewel thing.
Also shocking, because as I just established, I didn't see Crown Jewel, so I had no clue that he had hurt himself.
Neither did I. And I watched it, but I was just like, okay, he's selling or something. And that episode ended in a way where it was like, the credits basically come up and then that heel turn happens. So that was definitely one of those biggest shocking moments for the year for me. Blake Monroe wins the Women's North American Championship and Tatum Paxley wins the NXT Women's title at Halloween Havoc. Both of those were things I did not see coming. And then, of course, Thea Hale wins the Women's North American title at NXT this week.
That was insane. And people are ragging on. I think it's mean that people are just like, so Mariah May sucks now. I think that's mean. But yeah, that was shocking. But a good shocking. I think overall, I'm gonna go with AAA just because who saw that one coming?
Any other ones you got? Or is it just, go with the AAA one?
What other shocking moments of the year? I mentioned it as a negative, but Rock showing up. Because it was just like, oh, he's not doing anything. And then he showed up and he sure as hell didn't do anything. Again, them cutting off Goldberg's retirement speech.
Yeah, that is a good one to add into there. It was sort of just like, hey, it's like 9:58 here. What's happening?
I mentioned it in the negative. Brock Lesnar coming back. That was shocking. I was expecting The Rock there because I was like, they're doing something weird here with Cena, but I was expecting The Rock's music to hit.
Well, this actually could, we can also talk about the best and the worst Smark Out moment of the year because some of those shocking things do overlap and all that. And I do have down Goldberg's retirement speech cut short at Saturday Night's Main Event is one of my worst moments of the year. I've also got down the Brock Lesnar appearance as one of the worst moments of the year. Brock Lesnar's back is just I don't support it. I wouldn't say most shocking for some of the other ones. So yeah, what do you think? Move on to Smark Out moments, or do you have any more shocking ones?
I don't think I have any more shocking ones. Maybe Jeff Cobb coming, but it was it was known that he was coming in. It was shocking that it took him so long to get there. It was shocking that it took Talatanga so long to show up after Hikuleo had gotten signed. It was a year and a half ago. But no, I think we're good. I think we can move on to the Smark Out Moment Awards.
So here's, we repeat a lot of the same things from before. The Rock puts over Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on January 7th and completely negates his character and storyline, and then makes no appearance at WrestleMania when its preferred heel turn of Cody Rhodes' plans change, and follows it up with his appearance on NXT. If there wasn't one other thing that I can give the worst to, that would be my worst. So functionally, that's the worst. But I'll just spoil it. WWE, the other things that I have on here, the Brock Lesnar parts, whatever. WrestleMania switches from New Orleans to Las Vegas, and then they confirm that WrestleMania is going to Saudi Arabia.
You know what? That might be my worst, but it might be lumped into something else.
And that is listed as anything and everything related to WWE being MAGA.
Okay.
Every single thing associated with this, whether it is officially associated with it, like Triple H going with the whole fucking White House and all that, or showing that disgusting stain on humanity in a video package thing or whatever like that, or if it's just we're all buddy with each other, so like the Vince stuff, the Brock stuff, the Saudi Arabia stuff, everything that when you associate yourself with that kind of stuff, that goes further than just this bullshit with The Rock.
Okay, so now here's the part where we need to have a serious talk about what this has meant for me this year personally. Because I gotta be honest with you guys, where we stand on all that, yes. But the people around me, my friend group, is probably even further to the left, right? So this year, along with my own issues with things, I've had to constantly hear friends be lovingly, not shading me, but just I don't know how anyone can watch this company. I don't know how anyone can support this. And you just get to a point where you're like, fuck, man. I am trying to just enjoy my hobby, but at the same time, it's become so negative. And you got Triple H literally standing behind Linda McMahon as she's announcing she's ending the Department of Education or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've got Triple H literally standing beside RFK. He was in the room when Trump was what was it? Was the autism thing with the Tylenol? And he's in the room. And now, granted, he's get me out. The look on his face is not a happy one, but he's still in the room,
And they're not there are levels to whether you are associated with something, whether you support something, whether you don't say something, whatever, or whether you are actively engaging in boosting it.
Right. And this was the year that honestly, it became too much for me. It became too much for me when I'm having to write articles about how Trump is the most intuitive person Triple H has ever met.
Yeah.
And it was too much. The Andrew Schultz stuff.
Mm-hmm. The Kill Tony stuff.
The Kill Tony stuff. We didn't even talk about that, that stand-up thing where Paul Heyman is just yeah, and fuck Braun Strowman, and then he went on ESPN and he's like, who said that? The one that looks like he's about to get deported? There was just a lot this year that made watching this show feel kind of gross. And to be honest, I question whether or not I'm going to be watching a lot of WWE in the next year. I don't want to be hyperbolic, so I'm not going to say I'm going to quit cold turkey. But I do question how much of this I'm even going to watch. Because it's not only is the product not compelling, but they're associated with really crummy stuff. Even Mick Foley just parted ways with the company.
Good guy Mick, always doing a good thing.
Yeah. And look, I'm not judging anybody. If you can watch Brock Lesnar without thinking about the Vince stuff, I'm not going to say you're a bad person for that. But for me personally, it's gotten to the point where I can't. And it's frustrating for me as a wrestling fan, but also as a person who has grown and changed a lot, even since the first podcast I've done here. Like, I'm sure if you showed me some of the stuff from 2018 on this podcast, I'm not proud of that too, because you grow as a person, which is
Right.
important. But yeah, I think WWE being associated with MAGA is the worst Smark Out Moment of the year. But I will say, from just a strictly wrestling perspective, the WrestleMania and Saudi thing might be the worst. What are you doing? You know that's a big week for wrestling in general. Why are you going to? You can't give Saudi their own version of WrestleMania.
Well, that's the thing is they are paying for that because they know that if they don't get the real one, that it really doesn't count. And money talks, and this corporation is selling its soul piece by piece more and more every single day just to make more money and just to be associated with more evil people. And I know that a lot of people are like, keep that out of it. I don't want to listen to wrestling and listen to politics or whatever. Politics is literally everything in life. It's associated with everything.
But here's the thing. I agree. I wish we could. I fucking hate this.
Yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of it infiltrating every aspect of my life, but that's my point. Is we can't get around it. So yeah, that's the worst of the year.
On the positives, Smark Out Moments of the year. I still think I laughed out loud at the toxic masculinity thing with Damian Priest throwing Kit Wilson through the wall because that was just a funny ass moment. It's not going to be my moment of the year. Hendry at Mania, John Cena's heel turn until it went to hell, Ricky Saints' debut, R-Truth's return, a lot of these things that I already mentioned. Amos versus Microman was one of my favorite moments of the year, obviously. I think I might go AJ Lee returns on SmackDown, maybe.
Yeah, because that's the last time I watched WWE. It was like actually like happy tears because it was just, again, as somebody who watched WWE through the doldrums, and yes, the younger fans from that era are growing up, so everything's getting rewritten as like, oh, this was such an iconic thing, blah 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 blah. But like to see AJ Lee come back and it be a huge deal, and they be forced to reckon with the fact that like, hey, she is a big deal. I'm not saying she's a 5-star wrestler. Anyone who thought they were getting that from AJ is stupid. But AJ coming back was so important, and that moment in Chicago is such a happy tears moment. And I'll go a step further. I love seeing CM Punk be a wife guy. That man loves that woman so much, which is something I know you can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much fun to, like, the joy in his eyes whenever she's around. And I'm just a huge softie for that shit. So yeah, I will also say AJ Lee returning. You know what? Late in the game though, that the crowd reaction to that John Cena match was a surprise and like a real like tearjerker in some ways that people just they love their hero and they didn't want to see him go. I thought that was really cute. But I'm gonna go AJ Lee.
And we got to round out the writing awards with the best and the worst storyline of the year. I've got a lot more for worst than I do for best, that's for sure. I got down anyone who came in from LFG and to Evolve and then got fired right afterward. Like this sense of, take Gintala, for instance, or Jamar Hampton, where they go, I'm going to introduce you to Layla Rell and Troy Yearwood. They are rookies. They are trying to earn a contract with NXT. They fail to earn a contract with NXT. But hey, we're going to sign them to Evolve. And they've got a new name. And they wrestle 3 times, and then we fire them. What's the story there? That they were so good that you brought them onto the other thing, and then at the same time so bad that you fired them?
And they shouldn't have fired Gintala. Gintala looks good, has some pretty good skills for somebody who wrestled as little as she did. They should have kept her on board.
I got down whatever was going on with Karrion Kross this year.
That's funny.
Tiffany Stratton can only feud with Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. John Cena's heel turn in general. Brock Lesnar attacks John Cena just because, and it's never followed up on in any way. And then the thing that I pretty much have to give this to, The Rock and everything associated with the whole, I'm going to be a babyface for no reason, and then I want you to sell your soul, and then I'm going to pop up on NXT and do nothing, and Travis Scott is going to get involved, and he's going to have all the stuff that goes there, and it goes nowhere. Everything associated with that was supposed to be the most important things. And if you are building the most important things with some of the most important people, including your greatest of all time and the heel turn and your undisputed champion, and you don't know how to execute any of this stuff, it's one thing if they would have been like, we tried to do something and somebody got injured. Like, I have not been liking the Vision storyline since WrestleMania, where they said, our goal is to drag this out for the next 12 months, and we are going to focus strictly on this. And they did. And like, I was not liking it, but I can at least say Mania is going to shape up worse this year because at least they're, well, it most likely will. I don't know. Sometimes they fall ass backwards into some positives.
I think Rollins will be back. I think they're going to get a version of what they wanted, but yeah. That sucked.
All the stuff with The Rock and all that, Travis Scott, that's got to be my worst storyline.
And I'm going to echo that because why do we just allow this shit? And I've said this on like 5 podcasts now with you guys, but John Cena saying, who cares, is not a good answer. I know everybody's like, yeah, but he's right. Who does it? Who cares? No, that's the wrong answer. Stop taking these answers. Stop settling for this shit. Stop settling for, but John Cena said, who cares? And he's right. Stop settling for, oh, it doesn't matter. The Rock can do whatever he wants. Oh, it's all about a moment. Stop questioning these things. Why? Don't tell me to stop questioning these things. Don't tell me to, what's the word I'm looking for here?
So much of this year is don't have a brain, stop being logical, stop caring.
But that's it though. Don't be mad at me because I care. Because when me, who's always been the most optimistic person on this podcast and the most like WWE fanboy on this podcast, when I stop watching the shows completely, as I basically have, don't tell me, oh, but why do you care? It's like, be glad I care. Be glad I have these questions.
It's part of that weird, stupid mentality that people have where they go, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Oh my God, you guys will complain about anything.
Yeah, fuck you. I want to watch. That's why I
want to enjoy the thing that it's an entertainment-based thing. I want to be entertained.
Like, God damn it, dude. I'm like, this is a huge problem for me. Is the discourse right now around wrestling is literally like, WWE fans go, oh, AEW sucks. Oh, they're so dangerous and they're so blah. And then AEW fans are like, WWE doesn't know what wrestling is. Ugh. And then you get the fucking the lame asses in the middle going, just like what you like. And it's like, can we fucking have like actual opinions and not just have to be on one extreme or the other, or just a complete fucking lame ass fence rider? Like, why can't I just say I'm mad about this because fuck, I care about this? Like, damn it. Don't punish me for caring. Be glad I care.
We are rambling so much on this podcast. I just realized we're at the 2-hour mark. 2 hour and 10
I know,
minutes.
But
we still have the Performer Awards left to go.
Night as I was falling asleep, by the way. That's what I told you. I had a lot to say.
Yeah, you did warn me that this is going to be a long one. I don't know what to have for the.
Be as long.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we already talked about most of the Performer things, but yeah, I don't know what I have down for positives. Positive storylines.
I will go right now and say my positive storyline is everything involving CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns from January 6th through WrestleMania 41. I loved that. I loved it. I loved that story. I think their interaction at the Rumble was a fun one. I think when they were all firing on all the cylinders, they brought some good points in there. You were interested in what that favor was. Favor turned out to be a little lame, but it worked as far as the match is concerned. I thought everything up until the turn was perfect. That was my favorite story of the year. That was the most invested I've been this year in WWE. And that's an easy choice for me.
I liked the CM Punk stuff at the beginning of the year. I didn't like the LA Knight and Jey Uso feud elements later.
I know people were sick of it, but I like that Punk and Rollins are just going to fight on site every fucking time. I like that. We need more of that. I don't like that Adam Page burned down Swerve Strickland's house and they're just like, yeah, we're cool, we'll team. No, fight on site every time.
I liked the Dom and AJ Styles stuff. I like Dom with the whole King of the Luchadors thing, but they don't do enough with it for me to really be like, wow, that's such a great storyline week after week. So it's sort of, I don't know. It's been a very, very weak year for storylines in WWE. Most of the storylines, if they are good, they're so sporadic that it's mostly just there's been a couple good moments over the course of a month here and there. And, you know, there's been like a moment with like the Becky stuff that's pretty good. But it's also been predominantly dragging that out in ways where it's like, oh, this week it's nothing. Or I liked some of the Rhea and EO stuff. But then there were, you know, maybe 3 weeks in a row where it was just only Asuka yells at Kairi. And EO says, I'm sorry, Rhea. And they just do the same exact thing the next segment. And then the next week, they do 2 segments of the same exact thing. And you're like, if you distill this into a 3-week feud, it's a pretty good feud. But you made it a 3-month feud. And you did 12 segments for each one. And yeah, and that's the kind of stuff where like the storytelling's just been pretty horrendous this year. And they could have done so much better.
Long doesn't equal good.
No. Quantity and quality are not synonyms. And, you know, you can do something interesting like the tag team division all feuding with each other. But then when you boil that down to basically just give the belts to the Wyatt Six and they disappear for most of the next couple months, then you lose all your momentum on there. And then you just go, we're going to have another DIY versus Street Profits match. Okay, well, I don't really care, though, even though I like both these teams. I like all 4 of them. But I can't get invested in it because it's just, well, we're just doing a match. And I liked the Mellow Don't Miz stuff to a certain extent. But they waited and waited, and then they would, you know, drip in something once in a while, and then they would come back, and you can't start and stop everything like that. So the R-Truth stuff, to a certain extent this year, was pretty good. But then they fell off with that, too, you know?
They shit the bed there, yeah.
So, I don't know exactly what I would pick here. Maybe the Dom and AJ thing, if I go, like, very specific. Maybe the Naomi heel turn with the Jade Cargill stuff. But then even that, like none of it's great, you know?
Yeah, I understand that. Like the reason I picked it is because it just resonated with me. But I understand if like they didn't do that for you, you know?
Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair aren't friends. Is that one of the best? Alexa, stop. I hate when that happens. Was that one of the best storylines of the year? I don't know. It's really like, this is tough this year to go with like a good storyline. When you've got moments like one of the best moments of the year, so to speak, is Randy Orton doesn't have a match at WrestleMania because the storyline is been dragged out long enough, and then now Kevin Owens is injured, and we don't know what to do.
You know what was a really good segment that they did not follow up on? The promo between Cody and Punk right before the Royal Rumble. Remember, the story leading up to the Rumble was Cody's unraveling. All of his friends are just bailing on him. And that him and Cody had this moment where he was like, I want it to be you because I want to show you that I've surpassed you. And it just didn't follow it up.
Maybe the Tatum Paxley friendship stuff? I don't know. I'm basically saying I don't think that WWE deserves to get a best storyline award this year. That's the better way for me to phrase this. I don't think
part of the show, pal.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the show?
It's what we do.
Well, if you're enjoying this show, stay tuned because we do have one more section we have to cover next, which is the
Sorry, I rambled.
Awards.
The next one's going to go by in 20 minutes.
So, check out the next section that is there. Make sure you leave your comments below and tell us what you think about all these picks and all our different, very heated opinions about different things. And if you are going to leave one of those comments of, if you don't like WWE, then just don't watch it. You guys bitch about everything. You can just fuck right off, because the whole point of being fair is to call the negatives out just as much as you call the positives out. And if you're ignoring all the positives that we did mention and only focusing on the negatives, who's the pessimistic person? Look in the mirror.
But again, you're not listening, because I'm literally telling you, I've never watched less WWE in my life. I'm no longer working in wrestling media because that's how disconnected I am from wrestling. Like that's where I'm at.
I'm not fully at Star Wars level. But it's a good equivalency for me of being like, I hated so much of this Disney era Star Wars stuff that I don't get excited about anything with Star Wars anymore, and I haven't watched. I would be going crazy for shows like The Acolytes and stuff, Andor and whatever, and I just didn't watch them because I'm just like, oh, Mandalorian and Grogu trailer pops up on whatever movie it was that Caroline and I were seeing, and she's like, oh, look at that, it's a Star Wars movie. Do you want to go see that? And I went, I don't know. And it's like, I should be going like, oh my God, it's the Star Wars movie. It should be one of my top favorite things of the year. And I'm like, more excited to see Mortal Kombat 2. What? Like, So on the pro wrestling side of things, we're going to round it out with the Performer Awards. But as I mentioned before, make sure that you show your support on all the different things that we've got going on. Make sure you're hitting up the Discord channel and chatting it up with people. Some people are, everything that's great in WWE. Have fun with those. And, if you want to bitch, complain and stuff, you can do that too. Keep in mind all the stuff on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell, share this, join the YouTube channel membership, join the Patreon, pick up some Redbubble and TeePublic merchandise, and also go to amangotree.com and check out everything that I got on my link tree.
Yep. And you can follow me over at DeFelice, and I'll see you in the next one.
We will be seeing you next time around on the Part 3 Performer Awards. Click on that on YouTube. And adios for now, though. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we are being counted out.